We're standing out perhaps one of the most iconic places in the high country, in Woods Point. You've seen this servo before. It's been photographed probably more times than any other servo in Australia, and this marks the start of our trip in the high country.
I've never been here before, mate. I've never been to Woods Point. I've heard about it so many times. I was hoping to fuel up, but that's not going to happen.
No,
Let's get to see how we
it was
go.
actually in production until just recently.
Oh, really? So it's only just popped out?
A guy on an F-truck used to bring the fuel up, apparently.
There's a bit of petrol still up in there. I wouldn't trust it.
Might have a little bit of water in it by now.
Water in it. Woods Point, this is where we start from here. We're going up, down, all around. High country, middle of winter. Beautiful day today. Not going to stay like this. The forecast is actually pretty darn rubbish. From here, we're going to head to camp. I reckon we try and get in pretty early, get a big fire going.
Yeah, mate, a few fun tracks on the way, no doubt.
Yeah, we're not going straight to camp. You're not getting out of it that easy. All right, high country, Woods Point, middle of winter.
I'm looking forward to it, mate.
Let's go.
Let's saddle up.
Jump in that truck.
As we mentioned, we're kicking off this trip from Woods Point in the heart of the Victorian high country. We'll then explore our way down towards the Cola, where we'll head into the Avon Wilderness and take on the infamous Mount Margaret track. We've got our mates Alan and Michael from Piranha Off-Road guiding us again, and they're back in that wicked 79 series. We've got Justin from NQ Crashing Cans with his 4.2 GU, and I think he's planned his winter warmers a bit better this time. I'm back in the 30 and she's going better than ever, towing a Mars Extremo camper trailer. Barney from Legend X has joined us and he's putting his new exhaust to the test in this weapon of a Hilux. Would you get a load of that sound? My little hairy mate Graham is along for the ride too, and his trusty D-Max of course. And last but not least, bringing up the back of the convoy is Rocket Rod and his dual cab 79. Of course, the high country is up and down, and hills are just about everything here. And at the bottom of these hills, you've got pristine creeks and river systems. It's some of the most stunning forward driving you're ever going to do.
What do you got up there, lads? I can't see a thing back here.
Yeah, we've got a small river crossing here, or creek crossing. Not too bad.
Most of these crossings are fairly okay to head straight on through, but do make sure that you look at the flow and depth of the water. Look at the exit point, but most of all, if it looks hairy, walk it. You'll freeze your feet off, but it might just save your vehicle in the long run.
Yeah, you're gonna love that one.
I'm going to say you guys are going to drag all the water up for me, aren't you?
This one was fine with a solid base and not too much flow. The exit was just a little bit rutted, but heck, a river crossing is a river crossing. You're gonna love this stuff.
Well, that looks slippery. Up we come. Over you come, mate.
We're not long left Woods Point, but we're already talking lunch. Yep, pies in the bush. How good is this?
Rocket's got some meat pies going, so I thought I'd take care of dessert. A couple of apple pies, a couple of hours. We had a warm apple pie. Oof. Chuck those in. Give that about a couple of hours, and I reckon we'll have warm apple pie. The good thing is when you stop it, you start to smell like a bakery. Ooh, you know you're close.
A lot of the tracks around here are maintained by national parks and will usually be semi-graded. That doesn't mean that they're not steep and don't have sharp corners. Coming out of this gully, we had our first real steep terrain and pretty tight switchback. Now, this is something that Justin is just not used to. He's excited and pretty much terrified at the same time. You'll be right, mate.
View is just spectacular.
Go on, coming up.
Yeah, it gets steeper towards the other side, Sean, trust me.
Now, I've got to make this turn in one go here. Stopping and reversing with the trailer is definitely not ideal. And there you go, I've just made it around. You've got to love that shorter wheelbase and that turning circle there.
Just past a second, so you're right to come up.
Roger, Roger.
Barney and Graham are through fine. But let's see how Rocket goes. Being a fellow 79 series owner, I don't like his chances.
I like a turning circle, but this thing's pretty average, bro.
Yeah, this thing's worse. These things have got a turning circle of a bloody, you know, London double-decker bus.
See that turning circle? Yep, that's 79 series life right there.
Didn't quite make it. Just needed that little 3-point turn. I'll tell you what, driving this truck is one thing you actually do learn over the years. You can do perfect 3-point turns.
Just think about the guy who goes to the shopping mall bus, right?
I parked this thing in the bicycle rack.
On the other side of this hill, you can see we've got a sudden change of scenery. Green grass and very sloppy mud.
Rock there. Didn't need that mirror anyway.
Justin, mate, I bet you're a little bit more used to this kind of terrain. Now let's see how I go with the trailer.
Steep little exit on this mud puddle. Just going to ease in, got the trailer on. Just going to, it's a really steep little exit on this. It's really part of the trailer.
Easy done, and I tell you what, the off-road hitch makes a massive difference in terrain just like this.
That's a go.
Barney's not holding back, and I don't think that swag is tied on properly. Oh, you're very lucky there, mate.
All this water is all off the snow peaks, all melted this time of year.
Oh yeah, it's definitely deeper. Geez, it looks bloody cold.
One of the great things about the Victorian High Country is just some of the things you come across when you're driving through this amazing terrain. From great campsites, flora, fauna, and the odd hut just like this one here.
Over we go. Yes. Oh, look at this little hut. I'm going to go and have a look at this little hut. I'm going in. I've got to get out and have a look at this.
How cool is this, mate?
Oh man, I love high country huts. I really do. There's got so much charm to them.
Place, look at this.
Can you imagine if it was bucketing down outside? You put your swag here, you get that fire roaring. I don't mean just a little fire. You get that bad boy
You
cranking.
want this molten red on the outside.
You just, I almost want it to happen. Just beautiful.
It's cool.
I'm going to build myself a high country hut one day. Just,
How many huts do you reckon there are in the high country?
I read a book that it said the number, and it's hard to quantify it because the fires come through and knock them out. They get built back up, but there's hundreds of them.
There is,
All
isn't
over.
there?
Yeah.
There's hundreds.
Some are big, really majestic kind of things.
And this is not one no one's probably ever heard of before.
No,
but
this is just a little tiny one, this one, but she's a cracker. She's got a lot of charm to her. I love that they've all got this side-built fireplace on them. Just about all of them have got that design.
Yeah.
Where the fireplace sticks out the side like that.
it's obviously done on purpose.
Well, they take their fires pretty seriously in the high
Yeah,
country.
exactly right.
It gets cold. Look at that big donkey of a log, of a rock. It's not a log at all, it's a rock. I know,
I
don't
should
you?
mark on the GPS, mate, just in
Good
case we
idea.
need to come back.
That's a good idea. In case we get
When
rained
it
out.
turns on us.
Cool, let's keep going.
All right.
Time was definitely getting on, and it was almost that time of day to look for a campsite for the night. We'd heard of another hut, and it matched up to the VMS, so about 20 minutes drive, and we should be pulling into a camp ready for the night around a fire in the beautiful Victorian High Country.
Just driving up this hill here, and Shauno said, mate, stop for a second, what's that there? He thought it was the biggest wombat hole he'd ever seen. I'll tell you what, mate, if a wombat comes out of there and he fits, I don't want to see him, because that's something from an era that we don't talk about. But it looks like an old mine site. Don't really recommend you jump in here and have a look, but this looks pretty secure to me. It looks all right. So we're going to just poke our heads in and have a quick look. See if we
go first, and
Yes.
I'll make lots of loud noises.
at the back end.
Yeah, right.
You're a good mate.
Yeah.
You're the sort of mate we like to have.
Got a torch. Hang on.
Whoa, go, go, go! Chuck!
It's one of those hairy-nosed wombats with big fangs.
As Graham mentioned, this is not recommended for any old mine. This one looked very secure and didn't look very old at that. We worked our way through this tunnel about 30 to 40 metres in and came to this big open area.
What's that way?
No, nothing. This is just, you can actually see the quartz veins running through everywhere.
Little glimpse into the Australia's past here. Can you imagine? I mean, this was done in a time before you could pop back out to your heated lounge room, you know, and watch the block on TV. It was a whole different time and place. Just imagine hurting yourself in here. Just to get back to town to get medical aid would have been just a mission, an absolute mission. And they tunneled through pure rock looking for what is essentially a pretty useless metal when it's all said and done. So I love these old places. I've been to quite a few mines all around Australia now. This one I've never seen before, and I'm going to mark this on the GPS just for my own personal use. I'll give you a hint as to where it is though. It's in the Victorian High Country. Have a look, see if you can find it for yourself, and then come and check out this great big cabin through here. It really is something special. Victorian High Country, turning it on 100%, loving it. Let's get out of here, Shauno, before the gases kick in.
Beautiful little area this, guys. Nice and tight, beautiful.
Bit of a creek here, guys. Bit of an off-camber section to get into it. Nice and slow, you'll have no troubles.
Yeah, I've got off-road hitches.
Staggering how vertical these cliffs rise up on the left-hand side. It's imagine putting the bloody roads through here at the time.
Now this creek doesn't look much, there's hardly a trickle of water, but it wouldn't take a lot of rain to come through before this creek turns into an absolutely raging river. And trying to cross it, well, that'd be completely out of the question.
Such a low centre of
Doesn't
gravity.
look like we're going to avoid this hole, fellas, so we'll just have to hit it.
It's an incredible bit of country this is. All the rock escarpments and everything. It's not something that you actually see throughout the whole of Victoria, is it?
Just around the next bend, we found the camp for the night. Al and Michael were straight into getting the fire ready, and the rest of us, well, we all set up camp to enjoy a well-deserved beer and see the sunset for a cold night in the high country.
I got the camera crew have taken the hut inside. I figured that was only fair, so I'm going to jump here right next to the Isuzu. Now there's an ulterior motive to that. It'll be freezing cold in there tonight. I got the fire right here.
I don't want to start sounding romantic, but heck, it's a beautiful time of day and a great time of day to have a beer, chat with mates, and talk about the tracks that we've just driven. You gotta love a few chicken snitties for dinner, potatoes in foil, and well, I've got something pretty special for dessert this time around.
Everybody relax.
Tonight, guys, I'm cooking up a sticky date pudding. It's an old favourite of mine, and it's really easy to make.
Yeah, it is. Well, let's just keep on going with that because you suddenly, you caught my attention. So what do you got here? Show us your date.
The first thing you need is dates, obviously.
You do.
You can't make a sticky date without a date.
No, you can't. I've had a few on my time.
I've boiled a bit of water, obviously. So what I'm trying to do here,
It's a weird thing that they call that a date.
we need a hell of a lot of them, mate.
But you got to put them in there.
So I'm roughly, there's about 2 cups in that, I'd reckon. About 2 cups. Put a bit of water
really
on there.
sweet.
The whole idea with the water is to soften those dates up. 10 minutes, allow those dates to really like absorb the hot water up. Second thing, jump into the Waco. This is not even my Waco.
Nice.
This is courtesy of Justin.
Justin's wake.
What else have you got in here? I'll need the milk as well, so I may as well get that out too.
Struth, you need all this stuff, do you?
There's some cream in there as well. I'll need
How
that
many
later.
ingredients is this?
Oh, not many, not many.
All right, so what's the next stage?
Well, you gotta let those soften up, don't you? Right, well, I've got the dates obviously getting nice and soft in there. I wanna get some baking paper in the old camp oven here. All I've really done here,
Line the bottom of that tray.
just line the bottom of that.
Right.
So now I start adding the hard ingredients, right?
Sure.
Self-raising flour.
It is.
Need a bit of that. A lot of people around the campfire. Well, I'm gonna go three average cups. So it's 2 of these big camp cups.
Okay, sure.
Roughly.
Sure.
Look, so this is caster sugar. Right, so you probably want about a cup of there.
Has this got a hole? No, it doesn't.
That's
does it?
caster sugar, a cup of caster sugar. Leave that. That comes like
Oh.
that's
I thought I had my crowning moment
the
there.
sticky bit comes right from there.
Ah.
Put the old drain dates in there.
In there now. Gracias.
Chuck them all in. Look,
Yep.
probably got more dates than you probably need in this one actually.
Well, I know blokes that have.
Need some milk now.
Well, you said it was
I'm
Oh, dude, are you sure about this?
Just start mixing it. Look, it would have been better to mix it in the bowl, but
Really would have. I'm beginning to get a real feel for this.
well,
And there's a certain way to massage the dates into the pudding. You can see the twist in the wrist here.
yeah, it's coming together good.
You see what I'm saying?
You know, make and do. That's the key. You got the old brown sugar. Well, it's making a mess. You're making a mess.
Well, I've got to
here.
get it off the spoon. It's a good climate for a sticky date,
Oh,
though.
we're making a bit of a mess here. Butter, 30 grams of butter. Cut that butter up.
Just
So I've got butter. I've got
there's a little liquid.
the brown sugar in there. I've got boiling water. I've just cooked on the stove of the old Mars camper.
Oh, that's what's going to make it the brown.
That's going to make it sticky.
Yep. Gotcha.
So there's
Tell you what, she's pretty sticky over here
one
already.
cup. Probably go another bit. There we go. That'll do.
Ah,
So I'm just, what I'm trying to do here is basically, you got that butter, you got the boiling water, and I'm just stirring that until the butter melts in the water, and then that's just going in, all right? That's that last bit.
okay.
Put that in.
Yep.
And you put a lid on the camp oven and come back in 40 minutes time. It's amazing what happens.
I'll head this way.
I'll clean up here, 40 minutes time, bit of cream. Dessert is done. I'm gonna stick this right here.
Yeah, whack that lid off there. Nice.
Whoa, that's all right. That's all right.
There you go, serve her up, mate.
That's a good bit. Yeah, a bit of cream, that's a go.
Come and get some sticky date, boys.
Dessert is one of the best meals of the day, if you ask me.
The healthiest meal of the day.
It is.
No, it's not.
Well, this one is. It's got fruit in it.
It's got dates in it.
It's got dates. There you go. It really goes to prove that you don't need a heck of a lot of ingredients to make a fancy dessert when you're out in the bush. If you ask me, sticky date is about as good as it gets. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. 2 seconds, boys. Oh, look, they're done already.
Yeah, line up.
Stick around because in Chapter 2, we take on some of the steepest terrain in the high country. Another beautiful morning in the high country, and if I said it was warm, I'd be absolutely lying, but knowing what we have ahead makes it all worthwhile. We've got to get the fire going, billy boiling, and breakfast underway. How good is this? The Victorian high country in winter is just one of those experiences that every four-wheel driver just needs to see for themselves. It might be cold, but if you come prepared, it's some of the best camping you'll ever do.
Yeah, good. What do you
Got a
got
bit of feed. Barney started it.
Barney,
Right.
well done.
Mate, you're doing a good job.
Thanks, fellas.
I'm just deciding
Some
to...
eggs in there.
Yeah, put a couple of eggs, keep it warm.
That's good. We need a good meal going on the tracks today. It's going to be a gnarly day, I think.
If this weather comes in,
It's all gone overcast. I reckon we could even see some rain, maybe. Oh, it will be, because as soon as these tracks get a bit of moisture.
I'd like to stay under this awning. That'd be nice.
You're exactly right, mate.
We're back onto the main road and heading out to find some more steep terrain. Even just driving on these sections, you get amazing views, sometimes as far as the eye can see.
I thought this track was supposed to head downhill. It's as flat as a tack.
Yeah, mate, it's pointing straight downhill.
You're often travelling along the top of ridge lines.
Yeah.
Although you're in pretty steep country, sometimes you just need to stop and take it all in.
Definitely a lot deeper, boys, than the last one.
Science dictates that what goes down must come up.
Certainly does, mate, and I think that's our future.
Gravity dictates that going down is a hell of a lot easier than going up.
Yeah. Speaking of science, mate, science also dictates that Toyota is the best four-wheel drive ever made.
Now, you are lying, Sean.
You're a weird little man. You get these delusions and you start just talking rubbish. It's like you missed your medication this morning.
Yeah, boys, this goes down. It looks like it's, if this was wet, this would be very, very slippery.
Now, I know, we say this all the time, but this is incredibly steep. The camera never does it justice, and this is just what the high country is all about.
Bit of a misconception out there that steep downhills and autos don't mix, and I mean, super steep, perhaps. This is pretty darn steep by anyone's means. Just plodding along here in first gear, and Driptronic's just working a treat. I'm not using the brake at all.
Your autos have certainly come a long way over the years and that. Get yourself a lock-up kit. they can certainly put on a show, match the best of the manuals.
And you can see just how good that's working there, Rocket. No issues at all coming down that one. Just as we predicted, back up the hills we go.
Saw the bottom of the car disappear under the water.
Oh, would you listen to that note? Rocket's got one of the Legend X exhausts on the 79. And I tell you what, if you think it sounds good on DVD, you wait till you hear it in real life. Just our luck, it started raining. We did expect it, but unfortunately, it came up a bit sooner than we wanted. One of the little issues we've got now, of course, I don't know if you can see it, it's raining. It's raining quite heavily too, and we're still halfway up a hill. So it's going to be quite slippery getting down the bottom, I reckon.
Something that looks, yeah, this looks bad. This is disgusting.
I didn't think you washed your car when you got home, buddy.
Oh, I'm going to have to wash it shortly, I think.
Alright, going in. There we go. Just nice and slowly. And power out.
Look at there, what a set. Yeah, there, yeah.
We waited out that flash of rain and it wasn't long until the sun came back out. Now, everything was wet.
That is what you call steep. All right, the boys are right up the top. I want Rocket to keep his foot on the brake, so I'm keeping him in the truck as well. There's no point in the boys coming back down, so I'm going to do solo recovery here just to get me up over this initial part and stuff to there somewhere. And I can see a perfect tree directly in front. So handbrake's on, and I've left the auto in D for drive rather than in park, so I can just jump in and go when I'm ready to rock and roll. Get the winch controller and we'll get into it. Look, even when you're out with your mates four-wheel driving and doing a lot of recoveries and everyone's chipping in, and that's the way it should be, you know, there's a situation like this where you say to your mates, I've got this, I'm going to do this recovery on my own. Why? Well, because you never know when you're going to be out going for a fish or a hunt or just a drive by yourself, and you're going to need the entire process on your own, no one else there. No one to double check your knot, no one to double check your shackles, no one to double check that you've done everything right. Self-reliance in the bush, it's kind of a bit of a forgotten art. All right, I'm going to jump back in the ute and get going. No, it'll be harder than it looks. I'm in, I'm in. There's the rock step that I couldn't get up. Keep that winch going and keep driving. That's it. Yeah! Yeah!
The next section had heaps of traction, and the boys were finally able to join us at camp.
You know, you've heard the saying, the simple things in life are often the best. Have a go at this. This took me all of, conservatively, maybe 3 minutes to put this up. Come over here. Come here. Come this way. Have a look at the livable area I've got in here now. So I'm going to put my swag down there. That means I've still got all this to cook in. You know what? I hope it rains tonight. Bring it on. Seriously, folks, such a simple thing, but this is worth its weight in gold. I'm going to put another peg in because it's going to get real windy tonight. You could buy 2 of these, whack another one off that side. In 10 minutes flat with your swag, you could have an amazing amount of room set up here. So very, very simply. And look at this. Hang on a second. Put your beer down. That's the bag it comes in. That's how big it is in the back of the 4B. It's too simple. It's almost too simple for me. And that's saying something. Love it. As we're coming down this hill here just now, I won't lie, I nearly ran off the track about 4 times. Not a track that I should be doing that on either because it was pretty gnarly, but the view coming down into what was essentially all through there being the Avon Wilderness, breathtaking, utterly breathtaking. And I know I say it so many times, probably sick of me saying it, but it really is one of the most spectacular places I've ever been to. The Avon Wilderness, the section we're going to go into next, doesn't get a lot of traffic. Where we have been, a certain area of us does get very, very busy, but this here, no one really goes into it. It's super remote. Even if you're into backpacking, hiking, to get in as far as we're going to go would be virtually impossible. And that is where owning a 4-wheel drive is such a bloody privilege. To be able to drive in there over the next few days, taking a couple of beers, taking what's going to be a lovely stew tonight, or well, I don't know what I'm going to make tonight, actually. It could be a horrible meal, but the thing is I can take that all in my fridge, I've got my swag, I'm comfortable. Try doing that without a 4-wheel drive. Unless you're rich and you've got a helicopter, it ain't going to happen. And that's why owning these vehicles is so damn great, but it's also such a privilege, and it's not one that we should take easily. You get to campsites like this one here that is pristine, make sure you leave it even better than you found it. I'm going to go and enjoy a beer near the fire and soak it all up. Oh, jeez. Oh, now, I could have sat back at camp, taken photos of the fireplace or of the boys, but like I say, location is 9/10 of photography. In fact, there's an old saying, F8 and be there, and that really does mean don't worry about what you're shooting on, but make sure you get to the right location. I'm about halfway there. Look what I've got to try and cross now. Oh, that water will be cold if I fall in. Really cold. Here we go. I've got to get past some stuff here though. Looking up the river, the composition I want, I can't get from here. I need to be on that rock. There's only one thing for it. What I want you to know at home is that's snow melt. I'm going in. Oh! Oh! Madre de Dios! Oh! Oh! That is so cold. That is so cold. All right, I'm set to go here. What I've done is I've framed up these rapids coming down past me, and I'm going to go for a 4-second exposure. Obviously, I need a tripod for that because it's a long exposure. You don't want to get any movement. Here's the real trick though. Every camera's got this. You use it for the selfies or the group photos. It's called the self-timer. What I've done is I've set my self-timer to 2 seconds. Then, when I push the button, the self-timer goes off, and that means that I'm not moving the camera during the 4-second exposure. So, 1, 2, takes the photo. 3, 2, 1, finishes. And there's zero movement of the camera by me pushing the button. It's a really good trick if you want to use long exposure shots. And that looks pretty sick. I'm gonna get a few more, then I'll head back to camp. Way before dark, because I don't want to do that bridge in the dark.
As the sun set and Graham returned from his little adventure, it was time to build that fire up and get on to dinner.
So, what are you calling this, mate? This is not
quick spaghetti bolognese.
It's not. You are so, because Justin is such a pedantic Italian chef. He was gutted at the ingredients that we gave him, so he would not call this spaghetti bolognese. So I'm going to call it francanese, because we're using ingredients that he would never choose to use.
That's good.
Francanese it is. Thanks, man.
Well, Justin, you did well in my books. Nice work, mate. Make sure you stick around because in part 3, we head into the Avon Wilderness area and take on the infamous Mount Margaret track. A sunny morning and time to pack up camp. With a bit of a change coming our way, we got some jaffles into us and got to it. Hopefully the weather stays nice and clear for us, but something tells me with those ominous clouds approaching, we could be in for a bit of rain. This morning we officially left the Alpine National Park and made our way into the Avon Wilderness. Of course that meant getting back onto the blacktop for a few Ks and then heading up to Mount Margaret.
Come on down, we're on the main road. Lloyd two-wheel drive in the section.
Shauno, I think this little bit of a blacktop here marks the end of that section of the National Park, and we're into the Avon Wilderness from here, I think, mate.
Yeah, it's a weird sensation driving on a bit of blacktop, but I'm looking forward to heading to the next part of the adventure.
This bridge here this is brand new. This was actually rebuilt around about 2007. It got wiped out, the old historic bridge, in the town on the other side of here. So I'm told we're isolated for, they couldn't get across for about 2 months. That's a heck of a thing. You'd want to make sure you got enough Forex, mate. That'd drive you mad. Yeah, you'd go crazy, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely, mate. I'll tell you, it's not a bad part of the world to be stranded too.
No, I'd actually almost volunteer for it.
Hey mate, what's going on?
That's it, crawl on in here, mate. Just have a look at the VMS to see where we're going to go. I reckon we head, well, I'm afraid to say, we've got to do a bit of blacktop to get up here. About 30 odd K of blacktop. But
okay.
We get to this car park here, head right, straight up the Mount Margaret track, which goes pretty much vertical up to 1,094 metres.
I just saw that, 1,094 metres.
Yep. Straight off the road. It's like low range off the blacktop.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about having a GPS. Is look how many different tracks there are.
Oh mate,
off
there's
here.
tracks everywhere. There's foot tracks, there's driving tracks, there's rivers, there's roads, there's all over the place. You'd just get so discombobulated if you didn't know where you were. So I'll mark that now, and I'll just keep an eye on as we go up there.
And then we'll turn off, obviously.
Well, there's not actually, there is, but there's a bit of a car park we need to find first, so we can lock it low and go up. So
okay.
I'll get on the radio.
Easy, mate.
Cool, mate.
There we go. I'm just taking the trailer off. You know, I'm not too worried about the trailer. The trailer will make it fine. I'm just worried about towing it and my safety. This hill is an absolute doozy. We had about 5 mil of rain last night, so it's just not worth risking taking a trailer here. So I'm going to leave it here, go drive this track, and then come back and pick it up. So I can at least drive the track with everyone else, and I don't risk life and limb in the process. So sometimes it pays to just have a think before you tackle any old track in the high country, because there's some gnarly ones out there, that's for sure.
The Mount Margaret track is a very steep track. It's just out of the town called Lacola and surrounded by some absolutely amazing campsites dotted along the Wellington River. Al and Michael are heading up first to check out the track, making sure all is clear ahead. There's surprisingly a lot of traction on this section of the track and you can feel the tyres grabbing at the rocks, but something tells me this is going to get a bit tougher yet.
Traction control doing the work.
It really is amazing just how long this hill is. You just keep going and going and going. We've come to one section that has caught Justin by surprise. He's lost all traction and done the right thing by backing off, because this is no place to be doing a CV or an axle.
Now, if it helps when you're in four-wheel drive, I've always found low range is sometimes the best ticket with a center diff lock in.
I've got four-wheel spinning and that's where I'm staying. I'm not moving anywhere here.
It's right about now where you've really got to jump onto the radio and tell the rest of your convoy that you've stopped. That way everyone can find a washout to park up on and not worry about standing on the brake pedal, because in the dirty 30 the brakes certainly aren't the best, so you really want to try and get it on as flat a ground as possible.
Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming.
All that Justin really needs to do is just to come back a few metres and just keep a steady throttle and he should be fine. Give it a go, mate. That's the way, and lifting wheels too. This is really, really steep. And now for the 30, and what a beast she is. She's not afraid to lift a wheel either. It's just when you lift 2 or 3 or even 4 wheels that I really need to start worrying. Rod's actually taken a different line here, and a smart one too. Like I say, horses for courses. He's looked at the line, and that's the one for his 79. Nice drive, mate. Now let's get on to the tough bit. As you can see here, this is where the track really starts to deteriorate. You've got a bit more mud, large rocks, and a few big ruts. Alright, Justin's up, he's going in full force, both lockers on, pedal to the metal, let's do this, mate. There you go, what a drive. He's picked the absolute perfect line going up this, and he's up no worries at all.
Big hole in the middle of the track too, guys.
Let's see if the big dirty 30 can match his drive. Now I've got the front locker on, but I'm running an open diff in the rear because the rear locker's broken. So let's see how we go.
Oh, that's slippery. That is slippery, boys.
Yeah, not quite. I'm going to reverse back and give it another go on a slightly different line.
What's it like? Well, you're coming backwards. That looks very steep.
It's pretty steep. I didn't quite make that line, so I'm going to try again.
All right, round 2. That's the one. I almost took out the cameraman, but I got up, and that's what counts. How good's that?
Ah, that's a go. Slightly different wheel placement makes all the difference.
Well done, buddy.
Now Barney's making his way up. He's twin locked, but the IFS and the smaller tyres might hold him back a bit here.
Straighten those tyres, mate. Straighten them. Have to go back. Just hang on. I'll come down and spot you. Stop there. Now, when you do come up, I'm going to get you to go left, and then you're going to go cut back on the right-hand line. I'm your driving side today, right? Up here, over this, and then you'll sort of want to turn it up over here, and come up with your right hand up on the bank a little bit, and then that's your line straight up there. And that's you, hold it. Start your back on the side again, split. Stop, that's it. We'll do it section by section.
What we're doing is we've just put 2 max tracks. They're not balanced the best, it might not work, but he is just, that rear driver's side is just spinning, no traction, it's a little bit slippery, and he doesn't really have the articulation. So a bit of max tracks action might be just the traction he needs. Right, mate, on that line, a little bit to the driver's side down.
got stuck in that rut. We might have to get a little bit creative here and figure a different option for
So
him.
close.
As you can see, Max tracks aren't just built for sand, they're built for any time you've got no traction. It's got no traction right now, so this should do it, I reckon. What a drive. There you go, Max Tracks, eh? What an awesome invention. And you don't need to use them just in sand, they work just as good in the ruts and in clay as well.
Oh, thanks for the help, champ. That was a lot of fun and well worth coming up here for, brother.
Graham's up and I think we'll have to employ the same technique here as we use with Barney.
That's better. Okay, slow down, slow down.
Yes!
So as soon as you come up here, you're going to hug this bank hard.
Yep. All right.
Figured out the whole track, Jesus.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's just could do damage.
It's not going to happen, is it?
Just the clearance is not great.
Nah, traction's not great. That tree where Dino's on,
Decided I'm just going to winch it up. There's no point trying to break anything this late in the track, and I'm not very good at IFS mechanics, so there's no even point trying this.
Nah.
So we're just going to winch it. It's safer this way. Just put less stress on the vehicle.
what
We
you
probably
pay-
could have done it if we spent another hour mucking around
Yeah,
doing
but-
rock steps and all the rest of it.
why you buy a winch, mate?
Take it.
A simple winch and Graham's up without a problem.
Yeah, right, Rocket, when you're ready, mate.
Now, the track's all wet and sloppy and it's time for the big wholesale automatics cruiser, and just quietly, I reckon he'll drive it. It's a cruiser after all.
Come on, big girl! You can do it! Come on! Hey!
You're slightly not right in the head, Rocket. Slightly not right in the head, mate.
How much fun was that?
You did that in record time,
Oh,
too.
jeez.
Straight up it. Did you even know there was a rock step there?
Well, I wasn't going to slow down to find out.
No. All right, we're to get to the top of this thing, dude. No rest for the wicked.
Next challenge is
Let's
right
do
in
it.
front of us.
Decided to just take a second, walk out of this rock ledge and have a look at the view, admire this amazing part of the Victorian High Country, and it's really got me thinking. This is the reason we own a four-wheel drive, to come to places like this, to lock in the hubs and get away from civilization. It's therapy, it's recharging the batteries, it's the whole reason why we go to seek places just like this to get away from it all. And this right here has really reinforced it for me. You know, I want you to, as soon as you finish watching this DVD, go and pack the car and find out where you're going this weekend, because trust me, you're not going to regret this. This is living.
The Mount Margaret track is one of those tracks that really symbolises Victorian high country four-wheel driving. It's super steep, there's big ruts, traction can be hard to find, and you're literally driving above the clouds, up into the blue sky above. It's one of those picturesque scenes when you get to the top that makes it all worthwhile. This is Victorian high country driving at its absolute best. The Victorian high country has some of the best tracks and some of the best camping you're likely to find anywhere in Australia. You can really see why this is such an iconic place to visit, and so many four-wheel drivers do. Yeah, you might need to wear an extra jumper, but the Victorian high country in winter is an amazing time to visit. In my opinion, one of the most scenic and most challenging four-wheel drive destinations this great country of ours has to offer.
Well, I think we've made it just in time. Have a look at the view behind us, the Avon Wilderness. If you don't know where that is, check it out next time you come up to the Victorian High Country. And I say next time because you are coming to the Victorian High Country, that's right, isn't it? Yeah. Avon Wilderness, absolutely sensational. We've had super steep tracks, like some of the steepest tracks you'll ever see. Had a bit of rain, I think we're about to get a bit more. Campsites.
Mate, it's blown me away how good the campsites around here are.
Yep.
Green campsites on top of hills, views for miles.
Yep.
Doesn't get much better in my opinion.
The only negative, I guess the only negative has been the crowds.
I was going to say you were along, but no, you're right. We didn't see anyone.
No
so
one.
it was fantastic.
Not a soul out there.
I think that's got to do with the fact that people think they can't come here in winter.
Yeah.
But if you do your research, you know where to go. There's
More tracks
most
than-
of the high country open and
There's more
available.
tracks than you could ever drive. Honestly, there are so many tracks open in winter in the high country. The weather helped us out a lot. We did get lucky, but you're not going to know unless you get out there. No such thing as bad weather, just bad preparation. Chuck a raincoat in, get into the Victorian High Country. I'll see us next time. Where, mate? Say it right down there.
Full drive action. I'll see you there.
Yep.
For more on this adventure and to find out all the details you didn't see on camera, read my article in the magazine, and believe me, you'll want to know this stuff. If you enjoyed this DVD, and I bet you did, don't forget that you can watch every episode of Full Drive Action, and it's available for download in HD from our massive online library. There's over 100 episodes available for your viewing pleasure. And also, if you want to keep up to date with Full Drive Action, then make sure you like our Facebook page and you'll get heaps of videos, epic pictures, competitions and heaps more.